Good evening, everyone. We have had a very long day and I've confined myself to a few specific questions that we need to address in terms of pharmacotherapy. Special thanks to the team for this opportunity to share a few thoughts on this. So as we have other talks on neuromodulation and Botox, I have confined exclusively to the pharmacotherapy and I have no conflicts to disclose. As we have been emphasizing throughout the day, we venture into pharmacotherapy only if other conservative measures are unsuccessful. And it is important to emphasize to the parents that the other measures, though they are difficult, are likely to be more beneficial than just pharmacotherapy. Because for the parents also, it's very easy to just take a pill and then forget about everything else. But unfortunately, a pill comes with its own package of side effects and other problems, and it's no easy solution. And also, I do emphasize to my families that this is a problem that has built up over a very long time. You can't expect an overnight solution. And we all need to work together in terms of enabling the child to recover back to what the normal voiding habits are. So the suggested algorithm is if we try conservative measures for 4 to 8 weeks and see how it works and evaluate how the compliance of the family is, evaluate how the involvement of the parents are, because we do come across families frequently in our country now where the father is working in a place far away and it's only the mother who stays with the child, and then mother has to take care of 2 children and sometimes the mothers are working. We don't have too many families where the child spends 3 days with one parent and 4 days with another parent. That hasn't come into our country yet. But still, mothers are not in a position to continue with the conservative measures that we advocate. But we need to evaluate this and ensure that there is compliance before we start on pharmacotherapy. When it comes to pharmacotherapy, the first line recommended therapy at any time is oxybutynin, the muscarinic blockers that we are very familiar with. And thankfully, we haven't had to go to any of the non-specific blockers. But this particular problem of our overactive bladder, we encounter frequently at 5 years or so. And it is above that. And it's fairly safe to start with a dose of 5 milligrams. And another commonly encountered scenario is many people are reluctant to use the extended release tablets. It is just the plain 5 milligrams they use. I'm not sure what is the apprehension behind using the extended release tablet. So if we use extended release, we can comfortably cover for 24 hours. But if you use plain tablets, it covers only for a maximum of 12 hours. And it's usually only 8 hours and you need to give thrice a day. And if it is beyond that, we can add 1 milligram per year of chronological age. And for children of 10 years of age, even up to 10 milligrams if required can be given. And we can increase it if we notice the response is not very satisfactory. And unfortunately, in our country, we don't have a ditrophan elixir. The only thing is this is more beneficial in children with poorly compliant bladder who are a smaller age, who are not toilet trained. But I guess through our body, we need to make a representation to the company to bring back. Earlier, it was available, oxybutynin syrup. If we make a representation, hopefully one of the companies will be willing to make it. Because the reason that they quote is their rate of movement is very slow, that they find it non-sustainable. But for a select group of children, having the syrup is immensely beneficial. And if we need to use lesser than 5 milligrams, we may need to ask them to take the plain tablet, powder it, and then give it to the children twice or thrice a day. What are the contraindications? It's same as for our adult population. Those who have incomplete emptying with a large residue. This is not commonly encountered in our scenario of overactive bladder, but we need to keep this in mind. And in GA conditions where the motility is decreased, and if there is a narrow angle glaucoma, and in those who have hepatic impairment and those with potent CYP3/4/A4 inhibitors, this group, we need to be careful in terms of giving oxybutynin. And the commonly encountered side effects are, as we are aware, constipation. And there's a double whammy because these children start off with constipation and the medication that has a tendency to add on to the constipation. And also 17% of them report dry mouth, and some of them can have flushing. Heat intolerance is 4%. And unlike in adults, thankfully, in this children's age group, the central adverse effects are less common. And also, in my practice with oxybutynin, I've noticed that the reported adverse effects are lesser than what the literature reports. So I believe that it is worth starting off with oxybutynin. And if you're not happy with the rest, and if we encounter adverse effects, then we can move to other more selective anticholinergics. And how long do we give? The suggested duration is about 3 to 4 months after the symptoms resolve. And once the symptoms resolve, we can stop it and then reassess, and we can restart if there is recurrence. But it's important to emphasize to the parents that other conservative measures need to be continued even after stopping pharmacotherapy. And the success depends upon how they are rigorously followed. And this is for the dose for the older children. We can go even up to a maximum of 20 milligrams. But unfortunately, in our country, cost becomes a concern. If we need to give 4 XL tablets a day, it's not sustainable in the long run. But in terms of a requirement, if there is a partial response, there's always a role to go till 20 milligrams a day. What about tolterodine? Tolterodine is more acceptable. Adverse reports supposed to be lesser. But we do notice that in this couple of studies, where 2 milligrams was given, it was found to be not so effective. But in the subgroup of children who are less than 35 kilograms,